Hello viewers, you are welcome to Supreme Success Online Lectures. In our physics class today, I'll be taking you a topic called circular motion. In our previous lecture, I showed you the relationship between projectile motion and linear motion. So I'm going to show you also the relationship between circular motion and the linear motion that we started with. I said linear motion is the motion of an object in a straight line. So imagine this is a straight rope that represents a straight line. Then try to fold your rope to form a circumference. Try to fold your rope to form a circumference. So we said that this rope is now in an angular direction instead of what? A linear direction. So circular motion is the motion of an object in a circular path in which the velocity remains constant as the direction continually changes. Look here. Let's say an object, this is the center of this circle. An object starts from point A. Let's say this is the point A which this object starts from, and it now starts to move like this. This could be the motion of an object. Let's say you tied a rope to an object and you are now whirling it like this. So let's say the object starts from here and it stops at this place. Let's make this as our case study. So the distance between A and B is not a linear distance. Why? Because it is a distance along a curved path. We call it angular displacement, theta. We call this angular displacement, theta. This is your distance r. And we know that any line that joins the center of circle to the circumference is called radius. So you can see all the features of an object undergoing a circular motion. There is a linear displacement, and there is angular displacement, and there is what? Radius. So the reason I deliberately stop here is that we have something we call an arc. You can see that your AOB is an arc. And you have been taught in your mathematics that length of an arc, which is the same thing as AB, is equals to S, is given by theta over 360 times 2 pi r. So that is the formula for length of an arc. Then for your theta to be what? 180 degrees in degrees. Your theta equals 180 in degrees. If you substitute your S equals to theta times 2 times 180 times radius over 360. So this gives you 360, which means this take care of this and this. Then you have your S equals theta r. So this is the relationship between your linear displacement and angular displacement. Also, call this equation S. Equation S. Dividing equation S by T. What do you have? You have S divided by T equals theta r over T. Then you remember in our linear velocity, distance over time is given by velocity. Also, your theta over T, angular displacement over time equals angular velocity. So we have V equals W r. This is another relationship between your linear velocity and angular velocity. Call this equation U. Then also divide equation U by T. You have V over T equals WR over T. So dividing your equation U by T, you have V over T. That gives you your linear acceleration. Angular velocity divided by T, it gives you angular acceleration. We use alpha to represent that. Then we have W. The R over T give us your V. So we have A equals to what? WV. And you can remember that we have said it before, that your V, remember, recall from equation U, that but V equals WR. Then we can say A equals what? W squared R. This is what we call our centripetal acceleration. Centripetal acceleration. This is the acceleration of an object undergoing a circular path. So this now leads us to what we call centripetal force. Centripetal force. Question will ask you to derive the formula for centripetal force. Petal force. So we say F subscript C. F force, we all know that force is mass times acceleration. But your centripetal acceleration is given by what? W squared R. So just call this one equation S. Substitute it into this equation. You have your what? You have FC equals MW squared R. So call this guy equation. Call this guy equation C. Call this guy equation C. Then, if you look at this again, make W the subject of formula, subject in equation U. What are you going to have? If we make W the subject of formula there, we have W equals V over R. So you have your V over R. So if you substitute this into equation, let's call this one equation E. So substitute your E, put E, equation E into C. What are we going to have? We have FC equals M. Instead of writing W, we write what? V over R squared, then times R. So you then have FC equals MV squared over R squared times R. R takes care of one of the R. You have FC equals MV squared over R. So this is another formula for centripetal force. So we call this our equation S. Centripetal force is the force that is pulling an object in a circular path towards the center of the circle. So your centripetal force will be pulling it towards the center. Why centrifugal? Centrifugal is the force pulling an object in a circular path away from the center of the circle. So all this formula is very important. You have it in your head anytime you want to solve question on circular path. Instances of objects undergoing a circular path. For instance, if you have a motorcyclist, that is about to bank a curve. You know, by the time the motorcyclist is banking the curve, he will need to bend. If you have watched all these cyclist race, you will see that they are bending and their knee will almost touch the floor. There is an angle, we call it banking angle. Banking angle. That is the angle required to move in a circular path without sliding over or without slipping off. Minimum angle required. The formula for banking angle is given by tan inverse V squared over RG. So question can ask you that an object is moving in a circular radius and they ask you to determine the banking angle. This is the formula for banking angle. So I'm going to prepare 3 or 4 questions for you on circular motion. Then we are going to let's look at these 3 questions ahead of us. An object of mass 4 kg, that's solution. Mass, the symbol M, 4 kg, moves in a circle of radius 8 meters. Radius, that's R. That's what 8 meters. We are reading, we are reasoning at the same time. Don't forget my 5R principle of solving question. Then speed. That's V equals 32 meters per second. Calculate the angular velocity. Velocity. That's your omega W. And don't forget the relationship between linear velocity and angular velocity that we have derived is this. We are looking for this. Make it the subject of the formula. V over R. Your V is 32. Your R is 4, or your R is 8. So your R equals to what? 4 radians per second. That's your angular velocity. Then the next thing you have to calculate is centripetal force. Your centripetal force, don't forget, is M equals to W squared R. Your mass has been given to be 4. Your W is 4 squared. And your R is 8 meters. So you have 4 times 4. This 1664 times 8. So you get your answer in Newton. And the last question. A particle, the second question, question 2. An object of mass, you are given the mass, 25 kilogram, moves at a speed, you are given the speed to be what? 5 meters per second. In a circular path of radius is given to be 5 meters. Calculate the centripetal acceleration. So it's still the same thing. Your acceleration, what's the formula for centripetal acceleration? We derive it to be AV squared over R. So your V is 5 squared over 5. So you have 5 meters per second squared. Then the next thing you are looking for centripetal force. Centripetal force equals to MA. So you have been given your M to be what? 25. You've gotten your A to be 5. And you get your answer to be 125 Newton. And the last question. A particle moves in a circular radius, in a circular orbit. A particle moves in a circular orbit of radius, you are given radius to be 0.02 meters. If the speed of the particle, V, equals 0.88 meters per second, calculate its frequency in circles per second. We are looking for frequency. And you can just, not just your W is given by 2 pi F. So for you to get frequency, you need to first get W. And don't forget, your W is V over R. So what's your V? 0.88 over 0.02. So therefore, your frequency from this equation is given by W over 2 pi. So you have your W, which is what? 0.88 over 0.02 divided by 2 times your pi. You can use 22, or you can just use 3.142. Then you get your answer in cycles per second. That's the frequency. So I'm going to put some questions in the comment section below. Please do solve them. And if you come across any question on circular motion that you couldn't undo, you can post it in the comment section. We are going to respond to that, to those questions for you. And don't forget to press the subscribe button and put on your notification bell so that you can be notified immediately we upload our video lectures for you. Thank you.